Imagine with me, if you will, the American Midwest in 1888. Not the romanticized version we often see, but a land of harsh realities. Could you endure a winter where the wind itself seemed to bite at your very soul? A place where the whispers of your neighbors carried more weight than the truth in your heart. This was Grace Hamilton's world, a world defined by the unforgiving cold and the rigid expectations of a devout community. What secrets did this town hold? Grace wasn't just any woman. She was the daughter of the trading post owner, a place where life's necessities, flour, blankets, tools, were bartered and sold. But the post also dispensed something far more dangerous in the eyes of the townsfolk: liquor. Was it fair for Grace to have to sell liquor? While she simply helped her father keep the business afloat, her presence behind the counter, especially near the secluded bar tucked in the back, stirred judgment like a hornet's nest. Did the townsfolk judge her unfairly? Every glance, every hushed conversation, felt like a stone added to the burden she carried. Sound of wind howling mixed with muffled laughter. The laughter was a knife, twisting in her heart, even behind the warmth of the trading post's fire. Imagine the weight of 1,000 eyes, each holding a judgment. How much could one woman take? What was going through her head? That evening, with the wind clawing at the shutters, Grace felt trapped. The expectations, the whispers, the sheer weight of it all. Where was she to go? Something had to change. What would you have done in her shoes? Then, the storm. An unrelenting assault of wind and snow. Panic tightened its grip as she ventured deeper into the swirling white abyss. How far could she go? Each gust threatened to push her down, each snowflake a reminder of her vulnerability. How long could she last in the storm? Then the ice cracked. The agonizing cold was nothing she had ever felt. Every muscle screaming in protest. Lost, hurt, and rapidly succumbing to the elements. Was this to be her end? Darkness closed in, and a strange sort of peace washed over her. Her world faded into the blinding white. Was this all it would amount to? But fate, it seems, had other plans. In a weathered cabin, nestled deep within the woods, lived Caleb Mason, a man as rugged as the landscape itself. Hearing a faint cry carried on the wind, Caleb braved the storm. What compelled him to venture out into such a perilous night? He found her, a fragile figure buried beneath the snow. Lifting her into his arms, he carried her back to his cabin, fighting against the relentless storm. What was he thinking as he struggled to save her life? Each step must have been agony. Imagine Grace's confusion as she opened her eyes to the warmth of Caleb's cabin. A stranger's face, a crackling fire. Where was she? What had happened? The questions must have swirled in her mind. Caleb was there, silently watching her, his face as inscrutable as the mountains themselves. The realization dawned upon her. She was alone, in a strange man's cabin, her reputation hanging by a thread. How would the town react to this? Shame and anxiety washed over her. Silence hung heavy between them, gratitude mixed with apprehension. She needed to leave, but the storm raged on. What would happen when the storm calmed? Caleb, a man scarred by loss and hardened by solitude, found his carefully constructed world disrupted. His own tragic past, the pain of losing his family in a fire, echoed in the fragility of the woman he had rescued. Did he see a reflection of himself in her vulnerability? What did he see in her? When the storm finally broke, Caleb escorted Grace back to town, but their arrival ignited a firestorm of gossip and judgment. The whispers followed her. The stares pierced her. How would she ever escape the damage? Her father's face was pale with anguish. His words felt like a sentence. The shame of what had happened hung in the air as it was like a physical weight. Was there any way to mend what had been broken? Then came the impossible demand: marriage. To Caleb, an arranged union born not of love, but of necessity. A desperate attempt to salvage Grace's reputation. Did she have any choice? What was she going to do? He looked at her, his eyes holding a strange mix of calm and determination. "If it'll save your name," he said quietly, "we'll do it." What did he want? Was it just to save her? The wedding was a grim affair, a public spectacle fueled by judgment and speculation. Grace, a bride in borrowed clothes, felt like a prisoner in her own life. She thought it was hopeless. Could hope even be found in this situation? As they walked away, hand in hand, Grace saw a flicker of something unexpected in Caleb's eyes. Respect, understanding, maybe even a hint of hope. Could this forced union blossom into something real? What future did they have? Life at the cabin was a slow dance of awkward silences and hesitant gestures. They worked together, sharing the burdens of survival, slowly building a fragile connection. What would they be doing in the future? How long would it last? During one particularly brutalized storm, their newfound bond was tested. As they worked side by side, patching the battered roof, Grace's frustration boiled over. "I didn't ask for any of this," she exclaimed. Would the frustration continue? Just as Grace thought she was safe, the wolves came. Would she get out of this situation alive? Would Caleb be there to help her? Soon the snow started to melt, revealing beauty that was hidden for so long. Caleb and Grace planted a garden, hoping to harvest their own food. Would their garden blossom into a beautiful and bountiful thing? As the sun set one evening, Caleb presented Grace with a small, hand-carved figurine of a man and a woman standing together. "It's us," he said softly. Grace gasped and knew that this was it. What did Caleb want? Grace felt a warmth spread through her chest, a warmth that chased away the lingering chill of the past. They stood there, hand in hand, as the stars began to appear in the darkening sky. Would they find a better love? How long would they last? But what do you think, dear viewers? Did this forced marriage have a chance at true love? Could Grace and Caleb overcome the harsh realities of their world and find happiness together? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you think.